Elmira, August 3, 1877. My dear Howells, I have mailed one set of the slips to London and told Bentley you would print September 15 in October Atlantic, and he must not print earlier in Temple Bar. Have I got the dates and things right? I am powerful glad to see that number 1 reads a nation's sight better in print than it did in manuscript. I told Bentley we'd send him the slips each time 6 weeks before day of publication. We can do that, can't we? 2 months ahead would be still better, I suppose, but I don't know. Ah Sin went a booming at the Fifth Avenue. The reception of Colonel Sellers was calm compared to it. The criticisms were just. The criticisms of the great New York dailies are always just, intelligent, and square and honest. Notwithstanding, by a blunder which nobody was seriously to blame for, I was made to say exactly the opposite of this in a newspaper some time ago. Never said it at all, and moreover, I never thought it. I could not publicly correct it before the play appeared in New York, because that would look as if I had really said that thing and then was moved by fears for my pocket and my reputation to take it back. But I can correct it now and shall do it, for now my motives cannot be impugned. When I began this letter, it had not occurred to me to use you in this connection, but it occurs to me now. Your opinion and mine, uttered a year ago, and repeated more than once since, that the candor and ability of the New York critics were beyond question, is a matter which makes it proper enough that I should speak through you at this time. Therefore, if you will print this paragraph somewhere, it may remove the impression that I say unjust things, which I do not think, merely for the pleasure of talking. There now, can't you see? In a letter to Mr. Howells of the Atlantic Monthly, Mark Twain describes the reception of the new comedy Ah Sin, and then goes on to say, etc. Beginning at the start with the words, "The criticisms were just." Mrs. Clemens says, "Don't ask that of Mr. Howells. It will be disagreeable to him." I hadn't thought of it, but I will bet 2 to 1 on the correctness of her instinct. We shall see. Will you cut that paragraph out of this letter and precede it with the remarks suggested, or with better ones, and send it to the Globe or some other paper? You can't do me a bigger favor, and yet, if it is in the least disagreeable, you mustn't think of it. But let me know right away, for I want to correct this thing before it grows stale again. I explained myself to only one critic, the world. The consequence was a noble notice of the play. This one called on me, else I shouldn't have explained myself to him. I have been putting in a deal of hard work on that play in New York, but it is full of incurable defects. My old Plunkett family seemed wonderfully coarse and vulgar on the stage, but it was because they were played in such an outrageously and inexcusably coarse way. The Chinaman is killingly funny. I don't know when I have enjoyed anything as much as I did him. The people say there isn't enough of him in the piece. That's a triumph. There'll never be any more of him in it. John Brougham said, "Read the list of things which the critics have condemned in the piece, and you have unassailable proofs that the play contains all the requirements of success and a long life." That is true. Nearly every time the audience roared, I knew it was over something that would be condemned in the morning, justly too, but must be left in. For low comedies are written for the drawing room, the kitchen, and the stable, and if you cut out the kitchen and the stable, the drawing room can't support the play by itself. There was as much money in the house the first 2 nights as in the first 10 of Sellers. Haven't heard from the third. I came away. Yours ever, Mark.